any better.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Longbangers live on YouTube. This is Matty and Colin. Colin's just figuring out his car lighting here.
Is that
We,
better like that?
aye, it is a bit better like that.
The folk want to see me, though. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Really.
Aye,
Probably. They'd, they'd probably rather look at me than you, eh? Let's be honest.
it is. Aye, it's better. Well, who knows if they do or not, Colin? Who knows if they do or not? Um, right. So, thanks for joining us on here. There's a wee bit of a delay between what Colin and I are saying and the image that you're getting. So, if there's a bit of confusion, that's why, as I've only just figured out how to stop me hearing back YouTube as it's playing as well, because that was worse. Because as you were talking to me there, Colin, I was also hearing us talking from a minute ago. So,
Mhm.
there we go. Anyway,
That explains it, because I thought it was a massive delay. And I was like, what
aye.
the fuck's going on? Right.
That,
Cool.
that's it. So I think we're live just now. If you can see us and drop a wee comment in the comment and somebody just actually said that Deutsch is away permanently, just been confirmed.
Oh, is he?
So actually breaking news as we're live here, and there is a tweet from Hibs, so let me just bring it up. It says Christian Deutsch has joined English League Two side Forest Green Rovers on a permanent transfer. Thoughts on that news, Colin, before we get started on the investment chat?
I understand that. We've met him. I've met him in person. I've met him on this. He's a nice guy, but if we're bringing in the quality player we want to bring in and we've started bringing in, I can understand it. And it's good that he's going to go and get a game somewhere. Um, but aye, he's a nice guy, but that's nice guys don't win you stuff, eh?
Aye, totally agree. Always liked him. I always liked that he was. You never got anything less than 100% effort from him. When he was on one of his goal scoring spells, and he did well.
Aye.
But he just, I didn't do him not often enough, particularly after injury. Right, Colin. Yesterday, 12 o'clock yesterday, Hibs announced that the SFA had relaxed. Well, no, I was going to say relaxed the rules, but they didn't do that. They granted a dispensation for Bill Foley's investment. But a couple of conditions. The conditions were that they can't own more than 29.9% of the club, and the arrangement can't preclude Hibs from competing in European competition. So I don't think there's anything to worry about on those fronts. Um, you were on Graham Spears' podcast last night with Patrick McPartland from off of the Hibs Observer. How was
Yeah.
that? And did you learn anything new there?
Um, no, not really. I don't think anything other than what's been reported. Spears put a bit of the shiters up us, I suppose, at one point because he was starting to talk about Uefa still having to ratify it. But I think he then started talking himself out of that. So I don't know if that's true or not. But as far as I know, it's just the AGM that need to do it, which you would imagine's a formality. Other than I can't, there'll not be many. There'll be a minority maybe that don't want investment in Hibs. But for whatever reason, or want to know more about it, I suppose maybe because there'll
Mhm.
be some doubts. I guess like folk might start saying, "Well, at what cost is the investment? You know, they've got to double their season tickets. You know, all that kind of chat." And we don't know that yet. But no, there was nothing new, nothing. Just what was reported, plus um, that sort of bit about UEFA that I've not seen anywhere else, and I've not seen anybody mention it. So I'm just hoping it was wrong. Not that they wouldn't stop. Why would they stop it? But it's just another fucking hurdle, eh?
Aye, so I don't think UEFA will stop it. So I was watching the YouTube thing and just realised the pictures behind as well. So although you're talking all the words are out of sync, it's confusing the fuck out of me. So I've just come back on this. I'm gonna have to switch between the two so I can see the comments. You can tell
Ah,
we've not
right.
done this before. Um, I think the UEFA thing's a bit of a red herring. I don't think we would. I don't think either party would have wanted to go ahead with it if that was a potential blocker, because one of the stated aims was Hibs competing regularly in Europe. So I don't think there's
Mhm.
anything to worry about at either point. There's no desire, from what I gather, for Foley or the Black Knights to own more than 30% of the club, so that condition's not a worry. Um, and as for the shareholders voting at the AGM, I think because the Gordon family have got the majority shareholders, I
Yeah,
think if they decide that they're on board with it, then that's it. It's like
it's done. Yeah,
yeah,
but
they'll
just why
get a
it's a
majority of the
formality.
vote. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's all good to go. So what are your thoughts on it then? What do you think about the sort of what the future holds?
Aye. Is first for the anybody watching?
Aye. There
Good,
is,
good. Welcome everybody. Hello.
aye.
Just like again, what if nobody turns up? Sitting talking to yourself. No, what do I think about it? This is what I said last night actually. That so the Gordons have come in and they've done everything they said they would, put money in and got the corporate sorted, got income, revenue, adverts and the hospitality, got the big screens up and the ticker boards and they've made HTC a bit cleaner, tidier, better, all that, done all that stuff. Great, right? But as your programme the other week showed, what have we done in 5 years, right? We're still looking at it going,
Fuck all.
are we even any better? This bit here is hopefully about making the bit on the pitch better. And we've done all this, we're doing this stuff off the pitch and we're going to do more of it, obviously, with this money as well. But if we're starting to bring in players like the two we've seen already, and that's the standard we can look forward to or better, then we're going to be better on the pitch. And that's what we all go for. It's not to go fucking, as much as we like the hospitality, like, we're not going, your fucking hospitality is brilliant. When we're sitting sixth in the league, fighting for the getting the top six.
Aye.
Or worrying about getting emptied off the forfeit in the cup. Okay, what I mean? It's all about what's on the pitch. And hopefully this is the money that's got to make that difference.
I couldn't agree more. It's essential that whatever happens leads to improvement on the pitch. Otherwise, it's a waste of everybody's time. I don't know. Did you see any of? You might have been actually on with Graham Spears when it was on, but the nine last night on BBC Scotland had Foley on and did a wee interview with him. I don't know if you had a chance to
I
see
saw
that.
so I saw a clip that he was on for earlier,
Mhm.
before I went on the podcast, because it was at that time last night. When he was saying we'll have millions to spend in the summer. Is that one?
Aye, that was
And we're
also the
a minority, a majority, he said as well at one point, aye, which
majority.
is just quite a good word.
It's a majority. I thought it was dead interesting. So, the first thing he did was sort of make it clear that he wasn't taking a controlling stake, and the majority bit was sticking with the Gordons, so they'll still have control over what's happening. Um, and I think so. One of the concerns about the investment is what's going on with Lorient just now, right? I saw that
Mm.
described on the bounce earlier is the elephant in the room, and I suppose it is because for all like I get carried away with all this stuff. Like it's like fucking brilliant. We've got a billionaire involved, and it's right that you look at Lorient and you say, well, they're sat bottom of the league, so it's not really kind of done much for them.
Mhm.
But they're a minority owner in Lorient as well, so they have a majority owner who's in control of things. So it's almost like Lorient are shite despite the investment rather than because of it. And so I think if we've got the Gordons looking after uh, things, we're not going to see too much in
Yeah.
the day-to-day running of things. And what Foley was saying is all he's there to do with the Black Knights is to help them achieve the goals that they want to achieve. So like regular European football. And he said
Mhm.
his long-term aim was to challenge Rangers and Celtic. He said he hoped he'd be around to see it.
Yeah.
Did that make things? Did you feel more comfortable knowing that um, there's not going to be a shift in like, do you look at Man United where somebody's come in, they paid however much for 25% of the club and went, fuck it, we're taking over the
Yeah.
football side of things.
Aye. So I think that was something else we spoke about last night, actually. So, aye, it's so why, right? What's in it? What's he doing it for? Why, right? But also, and so another thing is, sorry, I'll come back to what I was going to say. Aye, it did make a difference. But I'm still, you still got the why question, but he's not owning the club. He's not running the club. He's got a say in the club, but the ownership is still the ownership that we've come to, I think most people have come to trust over the last
Mhm.
5 years. And they seem committed to it, and they seem committed to honouring what Ron wanted to do. And I did say this as well, actually, that I hadn't heard I wanted investment. You know, when he said in the statement, I think last night, they said
Mhm.
that the investment's always been in the plans. I didn't know that. I can't remember reading that, right? But I spoke to my
Same here.
brother-in-law last night, and he was at a meeting. He used to be in the Edinburgh suite. It was when it was called that. It's now 1875. And they got pulled into a meeting when Ron Gordon first came in, and he did say something along those lines at the start about getting an investment, and you wonder if that's why, you look back and you think, well, they wouldn't have let HSL finish their shareholding because they didn't want it, and he was reserving that almost
Aye.
for this part of it. So no, I think to answer your question, I think I'm happy because But I think we're comfy with the Gordons running. I say, I think they seem trustworthy. They've been here. They didn't look like they're in it for the short term.
Yeah,
I've still got the why question. What's in it for him? I mean, he's a billionaire, so it might just be a plaything. It might just be like if you've got that much money, 1.7 billion, your personal wealth or something, whatever it is. Um, you would piss about and do stuff you like, eh? Why would you
aye.
not buy into sports clubs and do that kind of thing? I would.
Well, the whys. So if you've been following the story since it's sort of broke, when was that, about October time last year? There was an interview on a podcast called Men in Blazers, and he talked about it there. So what he wanted to do is like this. So the what's in it for him was about developing players that can then go and play for Bournemouth,
Hmm.
who are like the top of the tree in terms of his group of clubs. So that they would sign, I guess, promising players, loan them out to either Auckland, where he's got the franchise that hasn't started yet, to France at Lorient, or to Scotland with Hibs. And he's mentioned a Belgian club as well. But the ultimate goal there is that Bournemouth get a player that's ready to play in the Premier League with first team games under their belt, maybe
Hmm.
European experience, maybe a work permit that they might not otherwise have gotten.
Yeah.
Um, and then he said in an interview last night that the reason he liked going with the Gordons was that they were on board with that idea with the development. But he also liked them as people that liked the idea of being able to help them. He said it sounds silly, right? And I think, I mean, we're probably both an age where we're quite cynical about these things, where you go,
Hmm.
nobody does it for fucking fun, or nobody's doing it to be nice. But he sort of
Yeah.
had made that point. He says, it's not a big investment for us, where it might sound silly, but it's a fun investment. We want to see them succeed. We want them to do the same as what we're doing at Bournemouth, and we want to help them. So there is a bit of altruism in there. Like I say, folk will be cynical, but he also mentioned there's no money coming out of the club. Now
Hmm.
we've got a question on the comments, Colin.
All right.
I'll pull up here, right? So it's Kenny Whitson says, I take it the shares for Foley are coming from the Gordon shareholding, though they would remain majority. They're going to need backing from HSL to get things done. I think these are new shares that are coming out. I don't think that they for Foley to get to 25%, I think that would take the Gordons under 50. And I don't think the club could operate without a single majority shareholder. So
Right.
my guess is that it'll be new shares and they'll be diluted, but the amount that dilutes it for the Gordons is not going to take them into a
And that's what and
minority.
that's what'll be the AGM, though. I guess we'll find that out. I suppose is the will that come out in the papers for the AGM, or will that be sprung on it on the day?
Um, oh, it's a good question. I don't know. So we should get details about the AGM soon, because the statement that Hibs put out said that this was happening in February, right? So that's tomorrow. We're into February. I think they need to give 2 weeks' notice
Yeah.
uh, on the AGM. So there should be something dropping through the letterbox soon. Um, and I don't know whether that will come with the accounts and a sort of details of here's the proposal, or whether you'll get the accounts and then they'll run through the proposal on the night of the AGM. But be interesting. I think there's some good questions to do to be asked. Like what's the safeguarding for the club? How do we make sure we're not going to overcommit and end up in a position where if the funding stops, then we're fucked. Um,
Yeah.
I kind of see us getting into that position. The other thing that Foley mentioned last night, which I thought was interesting, was how much back and forward there was with the paperwork and the contracts. So you have to remember it's not just Foley that's getting involved. As what is he, 78 or something like that? I can't remember. I should have paid attention. In his 70s, anyway, late 70s, and he'd already sort of referenced maybe not being around to see us dominate Rangers and Celtic.
Hmm.
Um, but it's the Black Knights that are buying in. It's no Bill Foley. It's his group.
Right.
So I think the longer term investment is documented and committed to on a contractual basis, rather than it being on the niceness of one individual who's happy to fund it for as long as he's around.
Hmm.
So
That's
that was
good then.
quite
Yeah.
reassuring. Uh, Kenny says they've only got 25% in Lorient. I read earlier on that they had 40%. So I'm happy to stand corrected on that. Jason Ladd said if he's serious about breaking the Glasgow duopoly, it'll take big money. And Keith O'Flaherty said, keep doing what you're doing, lads. Always tune in, see what's being said. Keep up the good work, guys. Thanks very much. Um, the big money to break the duopoly, Colin. So, again, I'll refer to the interview. He talked about Hibs having to develop their own players and be good at it. and then take a bit of time and grow the revenue. But that's where he saw Hibs going. Realistically, do you think we're going to be challenging Rangers and Celtic at any time soon?
No, um, no, because they'll just match it. What we need to do is like go and run away third place, make sure we're in Europe, and then start looking to close the gap a bit.
Mm.
But they'll start running away with the sorry, they'll start paying Celtic definitely. We'll just go, how much? 6 million. I'll do 10. You know what
Aye,
I mean? Because they can. Um, but we need to. I mean, that's 6 million, and I'll flip it back is only just catching us up with Hearts and Aberdeen. So that's why it needs to be. We need to be doing other stuff as well.
aye.
Like getting the European places and then making the money out of Europe and all that, and then get another 6 million from them. Because that's just matching the money they get off the boy to break them even.
Aye.
Um, that's
The,
what it is on paper.
it was interesting the way they worded it. The clip that you referred to was like, I think it was is it Chris McLaughlin was the reporter, asked them how much will Hibs have to spend. And he said, a few million in the summer. Kind of like it was a kind of throwaway amount, is what he said, like a few. But it wasn't like, is that a few million incorporated in the 6 million that they were talking about, or is this
Yeah.
like an ongoing kind of, I'm just going to chuck some money at it every now and again, sort of idea. Um, another interesting point on, I say interesting, right? You can disagree because it might not be an interesting point. He put 6 million into Hibs, right? Let's just take that figure as for argument's sake. If you look at the Marcondes deal that we've got, right? So we've got a cracking player, right? And that, my opinion is Marcondes could play for Rangers or Celtic based on what I've seen of him so far. Right? I think he's at that level.
You're not diving in at all, 2-footed here on this one. Nah,
Well, I
just
fucking am.
going.
I'm like
Uh,
I'm
yeah,
already loving it. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
one of these ones you're going, fucking hell. He's like, he's so good. Well, aye, we'll see. On
What a
first
touch, eh?
impressions, he's so good.
Mhm.
Aye, what a touch. Um, but you've got he's not cost us a penny. Right? And we've got Nathan Mariah Welsh coming as well. So I know nothing about him. I'm not going to make any grand claims about how good he is. He's come in as like a undisclosed terms.
Mhm.
And I think part of those undisclosed terms are they're really, really favourable and that we're not really paying anything for him now, but Bournemouth will retain an interest in his like an option to buy him back kind of thing.
Yeah.
So again, it's no eating into the budget. And uh, believe it or not, I have had email communication with Bill Foley since the deal was announced yesterday. Right, you've not heard
Mhm.
this yet, Colin, either. And he said that they've sent 3 players up, and he thinks that they'll help. He said, "We've
Mhm.
already sent 3 players up. I think they'll help. We're all in this together," were his words. So we know of 2 players they've announced already. So we can break some news. There is another player who is
That's
likely to
amazing.
be the what was it the defender's name? Is it Bevan or something like that?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I would expect that'll be announced shortly. I'm not even bullshitting here, by the way, either. Like
No, no.
that
I
happened.
remember you
Aye,
just guessed his email address about 2 or 3 months ago. Aye.
again, mate, and
Yeah.
start building relationships. Um, so anyway, like, so he sent 3 players up, and that's no touching the £6 million that's been discussed. So you've got this money. You've got Bournemouth will be spending money that will find its way or the players will find their way to Hibs as well. So that's a benefit. Let's flip it right. 'Cause I'm dead positive about it. I'm conscious of that. We need to be balanced. What are your concerns about Colin?
I don't know how many I've got. I don't know if I've really got any because I'm just keen to make us a better team, right? But so I'm maybe not the best person to ask. This would have been ideal for John because John's usually better at the critical um, thinking on that front. All I'm thinking, it's the unknown. Is that
Hmm,
I'm rather than critical. It's like, why does he want to do it? What happens if he pulls out? What does it mean for us? Like in terms of, are we funding the 6 million? You know what I mean? Are they going season tickets 500 quid? Fuck off, a grand, 800 quid. You know what I
aye,
mean? Like, what's the payoff for it? But we don't know any of that, so um, I'm blissfully ignorant at the moment. But they're the things that could make a difference, but we don't know anything about it. We've
aye.
only been told the positive stuff now.
The season ticket one's a good point. I had this discussion on Hibs.net a few weeks back where somebody said, you can expect probably your season tickets will go up. And I'm like, I kind of get, if we didn't have a billionaire involved and actually already very wealthy owners, do you know, like when it was like Sir Tom Farmer was very wealthy, right? If I go back to his days, bro, he was very, very clear to say, what Hibs generate will spend, but I'm not getting his fuck all. Right, that was pretty much his stance. If you want to spend more money, it needs to come from somewhere. You either need to be better on the pitch or the fans need to put it in. When you go, when you become like somebody's project, if you like, right? So where the Gordons came in and they wanted to make us better, and they kind of they went, well, we'll do the hospitality thing and raise income there. We'll take it for sponsors and
Yeah.
businesses. Season tickets went up a wee bit, but they're going to go up, right? Inflation and all the rest of it, you kind of accept that. But when you chuck a billionaire in as well, I didn't need to fund a billionaire's transfer policy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've not got enough money. A billionaire will no miss it. I'll miss it. So I'm
Aye.
not wanting to see like a big hike in season tickets. I think that would be like an
No, agreed.
incredibly fucking distasteful thing to do. Um, they'll go up. Everyone goes up. Like you kind of appreciate that, but we shouldn't as like fucking working people. We shouldn't be paying for a billionaire's
Yeah.
um aye like a billionaire's project kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, Cameron Fife said, I hope Hibs don't think because we have millions coming in that we'll have instant success. Look how long it took Man City to start really being successful. That's a really good point, Cole.
That's a good point.
Do you mind Man City when they first started off? And it was like they had to, it was
Yeah.
like attract good players in stages. Mind it was like Craig
Yeah.
Felony and then,
That's right.
uh,
Up a level, up tiers sort of thing
aye, what,
to prove it. Newcastle are doing it now.
aye, who was the Brazilian boy that signed? It was like the first one that was.
Aye. I can picture it. I can't remember his name.
His name's totally escaped,
Somebody
but that
message
was
in. Somebody can message it in.
aye, that was like the first thing that went, like that's like a proper like elite level player, and
Yeah.
then they increased the standard of their manager. They
Well,
went
Mike, they still
for
had Mark Hughes managing them in that.
aye, they went for Mark Hughes, and they eventually got the boy in that won the league, Treeface, whatever. Do you know what this was called in Top Flight Time Machine?
Aye. Aye.
Um,
They had Mancini as well, didn't
aye, Mancini, that's it. And then obviously once they started winning everything, got Guardiola, and they can buy who
they?
they want pretty much now.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have that bit of Orbino. Thank you, Cameron
Oh,
and
aye.
Callum. Aye.
That's the one.
Um,
I can. That's a point I was going to touch on. I cut myself off earlier on because I was straying away, but that was the point Spears made. He's like, it's all very well having money. You need to spend it correctly, and if you got the right person doing that, and it's it. We could get 6 million and spunk it up against the wall.
aye.
You know what I mean? On shite that
What's
isn't good enough. Obviously, the starting point's looking good, but they're Bournemouth players now. I presume we're not just got to go to keep reading Bournemouth, right? We've got money to spend. We'll be able to go and get, I don't know, the best of the other clubs in the league, maybe plus, I don't know, Championship. Maybe we'll be able to attract sort of Championship players for England or whatever or abroad. But they could be shite. They might not fit in.
aye, it
So it
could be.
needs to be the recruitment needs to be good.
So Bournemouth's recruitment has been pretty good. Um, Everybody points to Brighton's recruitment, right? So one of the successes at Brighton has been on their recruitment, and I think they're very data driven. There was another, I can't remember the name of the podcast, but there was another podcast that talked to one of the guys. I think their surname was Ryan. So in the Ryan group, who are a backer of the Black Knights, and these guys are worth about like about 9-10 billion pounds or $1 billion, whatever. Right? There's not much difference between the two these days. And their niche or one of their niches was on data, like sports data that they can use to identify like emerging talent and all that kind of thing. So one of the benefits of the tie-up with Foley and the Black Knights and Bournemouth is I would guess we'll have access to their scouting data and their scout site. So
Yeah.
Hibs scouting data, I think, is something like Y Scout. They use well, last time I went and got told about it, they did a tour of the training centre. They used Football Manager to figure out who was coming out of contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they used Y Scout or an equivalent to kind of break down a player profile and look for it. But I think, and then there's a couple of guys working on it who are maybe interns for uni. That's what the setup was like at the time I was showing it. Right, that might be a bit different now. Bournemouth have a big team. They've got more
Yeah.
data, better data, and better
And
qualified folk doing it.
aye, And so hopefully we can upgrade that as well, the
Mhm.
stuff that we've got. And as well as that, I think maybe you said it when we first started speaking about this in November or December, whenever it first started sort of leaking out, that if Bournemouth's got this big scouting department and they go, you know what, that boy there at that French team, he's decent, but he's not a Premier League player. But Hibs, you maybe ought to have a look at him. You know, so
Aye.
it's tip offs like that would also be a big benefit.
And I suppose in terms of attracting them, we've got the benefit of here's a path, like a clear pathway through to the Premier League as
Yeah.
well, because you've got somebody with a keen interest on how you're doing. Um, Couple other comments. Jason Ladd said get in Mancini. JXM73 said Solanke. Ryan McBee said Ryan Christie. A couple of Bournemouth players there. Um, and JXM73 says maybe not challenge over a season, but start with laying a glove on them would be nice
Mm.
for Old Firm. Question from We Are Hibs is: do you reckon we'll just splurge the cash on one player? Most Hibs think ever to bring in a wonder kid who ends up as a Gary Mackay, Stephen regen.
Aye. Go and
Regen,
get
Colin, if you
Farouz.
get me that, is that's a football manager term.
It's something to do with that, aye. Once you've played the game too long, it starts making
Aye.
players up, is it? Aye. Aye, because it could be one of them, Farouz, or who's the American boy that was always going to be the next big thing and he never ever
Oh,
done anything.
oh,
You know what I mean? Somebody can message it
aye,
in because we're not going to remember
aye,
again.
fucking
But
hell.
it was like a fucking sort of I don't know if it was a nineties
Aye,
one or early two
it
thousands.
was, aye.
Yeah,
Oh, man, I can't totally the boy. You mean played in the
aye,
American League, he was like a total wonder kid. You bought a
aye,
football manager who was absolutely immense, but
yeah.
in real life, he
Never ever
didn't do
done that.
anything.
But no, we can't go and do that. Like it's got to be. Like, I think we could like upgrade almost the full squad. Like you
Aye.
could see some of the recognised sort of first team never getting dropped players like finding themselves. If you were to spend that 6 million, if it's all on the team, because some of it could be going
Hmm.
on this infrastructure, the stand, the corporate and the famous five, the HTC stuff. Depends what you're left with. If
Aye.
you've got 6 million to spend on that team, like that's 11 half a million. It's 12 half a million pound players.
Aye.
So
Aye. Then you factor in the wage. Like Freddie, I do. Colin.
yeah. Oh aye, yep.
Callum and Stewart got that, and then
Thank
Jason
you.
Ladd and Ryan McBeasy, Chris Mueller, who definitely wasn't. I don't know if he
Oh
was
aye, Chris
a
Miller.
wonder
Aye.
kid, but
McBee's a big
aye,
fan of American soccer, isn't he? He's the watches
aye,
gets up
that's
a lot of times in the night to watch that.
get
So
up at the early doors to
yep.
watch it. Um, right, a couple of minutes left, Colin. I suppose, like, if you were to say, like, summarize your feelings on it after a wee chat here, then how would
Mhm.
you summarize it?
I'm excited to see how it goes. Like I'm not too worried about it. Like I've not got the worries. I can see the Hearts fans and other clubs sort of hoping it fails and all that. And obviously we'd probably be like that with them as well. You know, if you're
Probably,
kind of stoking it up for
definitely.
you're
Aye,
stoking it up. I know you're stoking it up for failure and that, and you're looking for the negatives. You know, like the Bournemouth reserve stuff and all that. And but the worst I can see is he goes, "Fuck it, it's not working." He pulls the plug. So what? Like we just send the Bournemouth players back.
yeah.
We actually, we got to end up with a foundation Hibs situation in our hands. You know what I mean? I don't know. We spoke about that Ewan Murray's article the other day, which just I didn't get the fucking what point he was driving at. Um,
Aye.
but I just think I can't see too many negatives yet, and I'm just excited to see how we spend this money because we've never seen it before. I'm spending money like that.
That's exactly it. It's brand new for us. Right, just before we wrap up, Kenny Whitson said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Foley said they would be hands-on with the football side and updating HTC. So I think maybe that was in the early days, Kenny, but he was very clear yesterday that they're not taking over any kind of management of the football club. And Ryan McBee said Hibs are definitely going to go places 100%. Right, we're out of time. If you've not watched us on YouTube before, you can subscribe. That helps us out. We've got wee YouTube shorts that we've been trying out recently. So if you see them, give them a wee like and a wee share for us, please. That helps us out. And also we've got some written stuff as well. It's free on our Patreon. So if you go to Patreon and look up Longbangers, there's a couple of articles up on there, one of them today about the investment, so you can read a wee bit more about it. Um, and if you want access to our subscriber stuff, you can now do that on YouTube as well. Just by becoming a member, it's $2.99 a month, right? Which is fuck all, really. And you get all the subscriber content on there as
Bill
well as
Foley
it comes
signed
out.
up. Bill Foley signed up today, I'm told. So
Well,
that's
I've been
good.
at him for a wee while, so he says he could afford it. Right, thanks for tuning in. Colin, you're going to go watch Hibs Women at the moment,
I'm
so
sitting
that game
outside,
goes
sitting
well.
outside right now. Yeah.
Enjoy the game, guys. Thanks for tuning in and for listening, and we will see you all next time.